Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. I am here to do a Tuesday talk with you, and I realized the other day that, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, that I did a watercolor painting with you, and it's been a little while since I have talked about how to set up a watercolor painting or how I go about setting it up. So I figured I'd take a moment today to kind of talk with you about it. In case you're looking at doing a watercolor. Now, watercolor is a difficult medium. There seems to be, one of two reactions. People love it or they hate it. And for good reason. It can be a difficult medium to control. And for some people, that's why they like it. They like the ability to try something different, try something that's a little bit more difficult, and things like that. And I think for me, once I learned how to work in watercolors, it made it a much more pleasant experience. So these are some of the watercolors that I have done. I have not done any for a while. In fact, the tulips that I just did for the spring flowers was the first that I have done in quite a while. So it's probably another reason why I had thought about doing that. And I, again, figured I'd do a Tuesday talk with it with you. One thing I like about watercolors is how easy it is to take with me. So when I go camping or on a trip or things like that, I tend to bring art supplies with me. And there's a few things that I bring. Now, I do not bring my acrylics, even though that's one of my primary things that I tend to work in. I do not bring it. I bring my pencils, I'll bring my colored pencils, and I usually bring my watercolors. And again, it's just one of the reasons why is because it's such an easy to travel with medium. It's easy cleanup and pretty easy to set up. Um, and so again, some tips and tricks to here today to help you with your success and hopefully how you go about trying watercolors. So first here, these are some that I have played with over the years and done. These are from reference photos. This was from a photo of mine that I took of a butterfly. I think the other thing I really like, these are just straight up watercolors. This one has colored pencil over it. So, I didn't do a whole lot of detail with the watercolors, but what I did was go back and kind of put some details with some watercolor pencils um, on it to give it more depth and to really bring it out. Now, I probably could have done that with watercolors with, fine paintbrushes, but I didn't. This one, I actually added in some ink to it. So again, the fact that you can easily create with watercolors a multi-medium type of artwork when it's done, because you can layer things on top of it very, very easily, is for me one of the reasons why I really like the medium. Um, it does definitely give a little bit more of an abstract kind of feel to it, although you can find watercolor artists who are really good at more realistic styles too. So there's only a handful of supplies that you need in order to start doing watercolors. Obviously, the first would be watercolors. And there's a few different ways that these come. Most of you know these, the little, um, you know, pads of them or whatever, but even that, they can come in some different varieties and the number of different colors that you get. Although really, like we've talked about, you really don't need a whole lot of colors. That kind of helps you, having a minimal number of colors, helps you to learn how to mix colors in order to get the color that you are looking for. So these little pods, these little paint, um, yeah, that's kind of what we know them as. You can also get them in the tubes. Now, all of these are kind of, well, this is kind of a cheapo, but they work. You can get some great paintings out of them. There's nothing wrong with the Crayolas or the Crazy Arts or whatever, if that's what you can do. As I've always said from the beginning, start with what you can afford. Okay, you do not have to go out and get professional grade quality anything in order to create great artwork. And if you can create great artwork with this, and that's where you start, and you really enjoy it, then by all means step up to the student grade next. And then once you're at the student grade, like these I got as a Christmas present somebody got for me. I had mentioned that I wanted to try the liquid watercolors. I really like them. It kind of gives me the ability to control the intensity of the color, and with that I went out and I bought a palette that I can put them in, and this is great because I can travel with it. You can travel with these too. Super easy and compact. I can throw them in a bag, and that's pretty much all I need. A couple brushes. You don't need a whole lot with watercolors. You don't need a whole lot with any of it. Again, when you see artists and they have tons and tons and tons of supplies, you do not need all of that, okay? Sometimes, keep it simple is the best theory. The other thing that you need is paper, okay? Paper is really important, obviously, because that's where you're going to put your watercolors. Watercolors aren't going to go, it's not like acrylics where you can put them on wood or canvas or whatever. They do sell watercolor canvases. The weave is a little bit thinner, it's smaller than the acrylic type canvas. I have never tried it before. Maybe if you've tried it, you can let me know how it works. I have just used paper. And I think this is where some of us have had these negative experiences with watercolors. So for me, the one place, if you're going to spend money on watercolors, the one place that I would spend it on is the paper. Okay, and it doesn't have to be super expensive, but the best thing you can do for yourself is get watercolor paper. Why? You're not going to have a pleasant watercolor experience if you do your watercolors on typing paper. That paper might be great for drawing and sketching and stuff like that, but you need a really thick piece of paper, okay? If you could see these, like, you can tell how, they're not bending easily. This is a really thick piece of paper, and what I usually use is this, the Canson. It's 140 pounds, okay? It is a thick, beefy piece of paper. It is designed to absorb water. Okay, there is a difference in the quality of paper. You don't have to get the name brand, but I would highly recommend that you get watercolor paper that is designed for watercolor. It's designed to absorb the water and to not buckle and start shifting around in any, manner. It's going to hold its shape easier. And I'm also going to tell you some other ways that you can do that. Now, I have had also luck with mixed media. Okay, this is another one that I have used. You can use a mixed media as well. Okay, there's a few things that I would recommend that you do if you use this, and I'm going to talk about it right now, okay? But you're going to want nothing lower than a mixed media pad. This is 110 pounds. This mixed media pad that I just bought at the store is 117 pounds, okay? And again, the real watercolor paper is 140. So you want a heavy weight paper. It's going to hold up better to the water. Okay, the next thing that you're going to want to do is to get some painter's tape. Now, I'm sure they probably have it in the craft section there. I have not purchased it. I just get the stuff that you can get in the hardware store or at Walmart or whatever to hold down your paper. All right, I have used this. It doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't hold up to the water. It's like the easy, the delicate surface one. It's too delicate. All right? I had gotten upset that this one has ripped a couple of my pages, okay, but usually it's only along the edge. All right, so if you can see it there, I don't know if you can. I think it pulled up a little bit of the paper there, a little bit here, but it's not too bad. Okay, it hasn't actually wrecked my paintings. All right, so then what do? You're also going to want something to hold your paper down on, and I think that's another reason where people go wrong, okay? You really need to tape down your entire paper, all right? It's going to do two things for you. Number one, it's going to keep your paper flat, all right? And that's a big part of making sure that you have success with your watercolors. You need to keep that paper flat, and that includes shifting up and down or things like that, because water tends to run wherever you let it go. Now, if that's the look that you want and you want it to run, by all means. But when you have the paint where you want it or the water where you want it, you do not want it to shift anywhere else because it's just going to flow and it's going to wind up ruining your painting. That includes having your paper buckling because that's going to cause the water to flow in a different direction than you want it to go. So by keeping it on a flat surface, I tape it down around the edges. That way, this paper and this board are attached. You guys have heard me talking about the boards. If you're here in Central Florida, I can get these boards cut for you. It's like 75 cents a piece. Unfortunately, shipping them is a little bit tougher because these are a thicker board. It's like a particle board. But the wonderful thing about it is that these have a PVC type coating on it. I get these boards at Home Depot. Okay. It does not, you don't have to use that, but that's what I use. I get it. It's like $15 a piece, something like that. And then I have the people cut it for me. This, I have them cut in a 16 by 20, and it is awesome for doing artwork with my kids or with myself because my mess is contained. And if I'm working in a place like we're doing art at the table or something like that, and now, we need that table for something else, I can keep all of the artwork in one place while it's drying, put it on drying racks and things like that, but it stays in one place. And that's the same thing with taping it down, all right? I measure in about 1/4 of an inch. Why 1/4 of an inch, you may ask? Well, that's usually when you have a finished piece of a watercolor, you have it framed, matted and framed, okay, behind glass. So this 1/4 of an inch is perfect because my framer says that's usually how much that they measure in so that the mat and this piece stay together. And so he will tape it, he or she will tape it on the back and, go in that 1/4 of an inch. So it winds up working out perfectly. I also love the way that this looks when I am showing people because for some reason that border just creates that near finished look to it. And it just, for me, looks so classy. Okay, the other thing that the tape around the edges is going to do, I have one that I'm working on right now. Let me get it for you. Okay, it's going to keep the water from going off of the edges. Okay, so that's going to keep all of the water here on the paper. Again, you're going to want to keep it flat while it's drying. And this will also help to keep that paper from buckling. Once this is completely dry, okay, not just kind of sort of dry, completely dry, is when you can pick it up and you can move it around, all right? Otherwise, there's a risk that you're going to take with this if you take it off and it's not completely dry where it doesn't dry flat, the paper is going to coil, curl, things like that, the things that paper does, okay? So I usually keep a ruler with me. I measure in 1/4 of an inch, and then I put my tape down around it. That gives it that nice crisp border. It keeps my water from flowing off of the end of the paper, and it helps my paper, to dry flat so that it doesn't curl and coil. Again, you don't need a whole lot of brushes. I usually take what looks like an old toolbox. I think officially it's an art case, but it's what I keep my watercolors, my brushes, and all of that stuff in. You don't need this much stuff, honestly. This has both my watercolors. I've also been playing a little bit with gouache. This is a resist pen that I use. I prefer this over the other. I can do a little talk about that. And those are some of the brushes. And again, usually when I go on vacation, I either just take this whole thing or I take just a handful of things, throw it in a bag, and we're good to go. But hopefully that'll help you. Again, I know watercolor is or can be, a tougher medium. The biggest thing is just watching the water, working in one section at a time, letting it dry, moving to another section while that part is drying so that they don't mix if you don't want them to mix. hopefully this helps you guys out if you wind up doing a watercolor project for yourself or for your kiddos. And if there's anything else that I can do, let me know. I would love to help out. Have fun, guys.